Hi folks, how you doing? It's Paul from Craft Words again. This is the latest of our Ask Me Anything videos. We've had a really good question this time from Dayal Punjabi. Dayal, please tell me if I've mispronounced your name. Just kind of berate me down here in the comments. And also just to say thanks for all your engagement. I see you pop up regularly, so it's really nice to see. You asked, do we as copywriters sometimes have to settle for less in terms of quality? Do we sometimes have to put out work that we feel isn't our best, but the client and everyone else liked it? It's a really good question. I think in this term, best is subjective. Like, what do we mean by best? Because if it's a case of you've written this wonderful, lyrical, beautiful piece of prose, but it doesn't work for the client for whatever reason, then in the context of being a copywriter, that's not your best work. This is where it becomes a little bit blurry. You know, you have to remember as a copywriter, you're writing to sell. That might sound a bit cheap and dirty to everyone who wants to, write beautiful copy, but that basically is what you're doing. And if your copy isn't doing that, then in the context again of being a copywriter, it's not your best work. Your best work is work that answers the brief, that is in line with the tone of voice and engages the audience. If it does all of those things and it's beautiful copy as well, then fantastic. But the reality is that it has to do those things first. You're writing to sell. I know I'm repeating myself a bit there, but that's what you're doing. And so that's why I think you just need to be a little bit kind of focused on what do you mean by best. If you look at something and say, okay, it's doing all of those things and we can make this line a bit better than the one that's currently on the table, then that's fine. I think you can push back to the client and say, look, there's room to do this even better. Again, I'm repeating myself a tiny bit, but if it's a case of you just written this wonderfully beautiful, lyrical, poetic work of art, but it doesn't answer the brief, then again, in the context of being a copywriter, that isn't your best work. That might be your best work as a creative writer in another sort of forum, that's okay, but that's not what you're doing here. So I think you just need to look at what we mean by best and kind of put that lens on it. All right. Thanks very much, and let's have more questions down here in the comments, please, folks. Take care and see you again soon. Bye-bye.